All right, so Corey, can you tell me a little bit about the game for those who don't know?
Sure. So Spec Ops: The Line is a third-person military-themed shooter with a strong focus on a dark and mature narrative that follows a squad of Delta Force operators into Dubai after it's been rendered a no man's land by a series of cataclysmic sandstorms that have filled the city with millions of tons of sand.
That's pretty awesome. So how long are we looking for playtime?
As far as the single-player campaign goes, you can expect something in the range of 8 to 10 hours. So we really wanted to put a lot of focus on building a really deep and emotional narrative experience in that single-player campaign.
Nice, nice. I played the demo and I can definitely feel this very, as you said, dark and mature narrative.
Thank you.
Very impressive. I've noticed you use a lot of music in your firefights. How did that come to be, and what are you using any licensed songs? Are they all originals?
So that's actually a really good question. I'm glad you recognize the music in the game, because I think that it really adds a different emotional flavor and tone to everything that's going on. We had a lot of debates at the start of the project about which type of music really sort of reflected those emotions that our characters were experiencing. We sort of experimented with more like orchestral, epic scores, and then, you know, eventually we actually settled on a very sort of guitar-driven and very raw-sounding musical experience that sort of complements those combats that you're experiencing there as well. But at the same time, there's a character in the game that's really interesting named the Radio Man. And he's actually got a pirate radio station running in Dubai on a lot of makeshift speaker setups that are set up around the environment. And so he makes commentary on the things that are happening in the game, these very dark situations. He makes really ironic commentary on those things. It shows sort of his twisted perspective through the things he says, but also the music that he plays. So he plays licensed tracks. So you'll hear a really unique usage of licensed tracks in Spec Ops: The Line. And also the interesting thing is that the characters are hearing them as well. So our squad mates are reacting to that as he's sort of expressing himself throughout these events in the game.
Nice, nice. So, why Dubai?
Well, Dubai to me is the most amazing city on earth. It is the place where the most, you know, ambitious projects are taking place right now. To me, Dubai is our modern-day Giza Plateau. It's where our pyramids are being built. It's where our Moai statues are. The things 1,000 years from now, people will scratch their heads and go, "How did they build that skyscraper?" And so I think that, like, even since the very start of the project, we were always really inspired by Dubai. And having the opportunity to build our game there really gave us opportunities to do vertical combat, to really experience a lot of variety in the type of spaces and level design setups that we have. It also drove us to develop a pretty unique cover system that can dynamically react to a lot of different shapes and sizes of cover, so that you don't have this constant, you know, concrete block look to your environments. It also is a beautiful place. If you look at the materials that they use to build those buildings that are there, the gold, the marble, the glass, all of those things really shine through, creating a really vibrant game which contrasts those dark themes.
So, contrast. So you're really working on that. I forgot what the hell I was going to say. How did the story come to be? Like, what were some like ideas that were thrown around, and why did you choose the story that you have now?
Sure. So we had a lot of inspirations early on in the project. I mean, we knew from the start that we wanted to take the soldier's journey and sort of the tales that are told from the soldier's perspective and show a more emotional and dark side of those things. And so from the very start of the project, actually, we were very inspired by The Heart of Darkness, Conrad's novella. And so that really sort of led us to contemplate a lot of the things that I think soldiers are contemplating on the battlefield because of the choices that they're forced to make in really heart-wrenching situations. As far as, you know, what is the soul of man deep down? Who are we as humans? Why do we make the choices that we make? Why do we do things that sometimes are selfish? and you know, having to live with those decisions that we make for the rest of our lives. That all of those themes, to me, are universal themes that are expressed in that novella, but at the same time, they're expressed in a lot of other mediums as well. If you look at Apocalypse Now, for example, that's a really interesting expression of the heart of darkness in the Vietnam War era. That was really sort of inspirational to us too. But also like films like, you know, Full Metal Jacket and The Deer Hunter and you know, Platoon. These films that were stories that were told from soldiers when they came home from Vietnam, and when they sort of expressed how they felt after those scenarios, and even a number of those soldiers made those films. And so to us, that really changed film for the better. It builds the foundation for a new way to tell war stories in a more authentic way, and we hope that we can do the same thing with the video game medium. And the fact that it's interactive allows us to get the player even more emotionally involved in a lot of those scenarios.
I can definitely tell. Yeah, I was really emotionally involved when that hostage scene came out. Like popped up in the campaign. I was like, okay, I'm behind cover. Oh crap, he just executed some guy. And it's like, wait a minute, I need to save this dude. So instead of just waiting for them to talk, I just straight up went for it.
Yeah.
And I was like, woo, I just saved somebody. So what was the most fun you had when developing the game?
Well, I think the most fun that I had was actually the opportunity that 2K gave us to take a lot of risks along the way. So what we're doing here is it's a lot different than the stories that are told in most military shooters. A lot of them really sort of focus on those high action heroic moments, and they sort of change perspectives a lot. And so what we wanted to do is allow you to build this really intimate relationship with the characters. We follow the same 3 characters throughout a seamless journey into this very surreal environment. And you know, 2K was behind us the whole way. We made mistakes. We had the ability to go back and reevaluate and try and push forward and really make sure that we were expressing those dark themes in a meaningful way and not just using them for shock value. So that's the thing that I think I had the most fun with, was actually going to focus tests, seeing players and how they reacted to some of the scenes later in the game where, you know, the emotions of the characters are really just shown on their shirt sleeve, and, you know, just So just, you know, just going and seeing those focus tests, and even seeing players like having to stand up and collect themselves after an emotional experience that they've had because of a decision they made, and the way that those characters reacted to it. Really, I enjoyed the hell out of that.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun. So you said that you we got 1 minute? Okay, let's make this quick. Damn it, come on, think. You said you touched a little bit on the showing the dark and mature side in a very meaningful way other than shock value.
Yeah.
Was that hard? And if not, what was the hardest part?
Yeah, that's really difficult, because I think it's very, very easy for us to portray violence in an over-the-top way, because the game is about shooting.
Yeah.
You know? And so gamers are really used to that, and they become a little bit callous to it as well. And so we had to really evaluate and, you know, check data against our gut feeling constantly that we were getting back from these focus tests, and then be willing to make tough decisions and say, I was wrong, and then we need to portray this in another way and take another look at it. And so that was the process that we went through throughout the development.
Nice. It seems like you guys grew as people yourself.
Yeah, we did. I think we all went sort of through an evolution similar to the one Captain Walker takes in the game.
Very nice. All right, I think we're done.
Thank you.
Corey, thanks a bunch.
Thanks a lot. Great questions.
Thanks.